Hi, this is Gayle with BERNINA of Naperville, and welcome to our Fat Quarter Club for January. And I thought, you know what, new year, let's make something that we can use all year long. Because, sometimes when you have that quick little hand wipe after you wash your hands, or just a little spill or whatever, we can sometimes reuse a rag or whatever. So why not put them into a paper towel form, and then we can just wash them and reuse them. And these things are so addictive to make, you could probably just make a stack and have them all over the house. So let's go over to our interactive presentation deck and see what we're in for this month, because it's a short one.
So let's have a look here at our Fat Quarter Club interactive presentation deck that comes free in the description of this YouTube video. So we're doing reusable kitchen towels this month. I thought that this was kind of fun because, I use a lot of paper towels and sometimes I really just need a rag. I'm not saying that this is something that I will be able to replace forever, but certainly in certain rooms, this is going to be awesome. And let's talk a little bit about this presentation deck. Now, you're watching this YouTube video, but sometimes, in the quagmire of all things in YouTube, you lose track of what videos you watched or whatever. So we give you a link in the presentation deck here. Let's start with the fabric. So every month, Bernina of Naperville puts together a Fat Quarter Club kit. And for January of 2025, it's a selection of dusty blueprints that we just kind of picked because we thought they all were kind of fun. They don't really coordinate that well. We have a Halloween fabric, we've got ice cream sundae fabric, and sea otters or river otters or whatever, right? But just something kind of fun. And of course, if you don't want to do uh, these reusable paper towels, there's other things that you could do with it, right? So if you want to make these towels, you're going to need a walking foot or a machine that has dual feed capabilities. This month I'm using the Bernina 475 and I'm using the number 51 walking foot with the open toe sole on it. Because I was thinking about sustainability when I created this project, I thought there wasn't a more fitting thread than the Ceracycle from Metler because it's made from plastic bottles. But this thread is more than just that. This thread is lint-free, this thread is very strong, and this thread is thin, and it will kind of disappear in the pile of our French terry bamboo. And I thought that this would be really cool to put on the back of these towels because this stuff is absorbent and you can just wash it a ton. And bamboo is like when I lived in Vermont, I had some bamboo that was growing between my house and a neighbor. And my neighbor called it whiskey weed because it drove him to drink trying to trim it because it just grows and replenishes itself so much, right? Obviously, he was joking, but you get what I'm saying. We can sew this together with a universal size 80 needle, and you are going to want to pick up some hook and loop tape. I used a 3/4 inch sew-in style, and I cut into little 3/4 inch strips because you need 2 sets per towel, hook side, loop side. You're also going to need a little strip of the loop side to go on a paper towel roll. Scissors, rotary cutter, mat, and ruler. If you have an empty paper towel tube, you can prep one and be crafty with that. I'm not sure you really need it because you can wrap these on a paper towel um, roll holder without the tube, but the tube helps, gives it some shape. And I use Modge Podge to put my fabric on my paper towel roll with a 1-inch craft brush. And I Modge Podged the Velcro on and I tried hot glue, but I recommend that you use something like E6000 glue or something stronger. So just use your favorite stronger household glue to attach this. So how are we going to cut these? Pretty easily. I measured the paper towel roll and it was 11 1/4 inches wide. So I decided that I wanted to make these towels the exact width finished of my paper towel tube. So we're going to cut one 11 1/2 inch square from each fat quarter. Then we're going to save a scrap from some of our fat quarter and cut that 11 1/2 inches by 6 1/2 inches to wrap that cardboard tube. Then from the bamboo terry, we are going to cut that into two 11.5-inch squares each. I used 3 different colors, and I was able to get two 11.5-inch squares out of each one because those are made from French fat quarters, which happen to be 19 inches by 27 inches. From the hook and loop tape, 12 3/4-inch pieces, and then one 11.25-inch piece of the loop. And then stitching, we're going to pair one piece of the bamboo terry with a fat quarter square, right sides together. I did not wind my bobbins 100% with the Ceracycle thread. I only did 50% because even though this thread is a 50 weight, it actually presents a little bit thinner. So half a jumbo bobbin is ample for this project. When you stitch your pieces together, it's probably a good idea to pin. If you're a pinner, it does shift, particularly with the fluffy French terry. So let's leave an opening 2 inches on one side for turning, and we're going to sew with 1/4-inch seam on our walking foot because there's a little notch on the top of our walking foot, and that is 1/4 inch. But at the end of the day, this project doesn't have to be super duper accurate. If you're doing a little bit more than 1/4-inch seam allowance, it will be okay, as long as it's consistent. So you're going to turn your piece inside out, and just some good practices when you do that is to flip your seams on your corners so that you can box the corners nicely and turn them inside out. You're also going to press the piece so that the little 2-inch opening can be closed easily. And the first towel that I made, I attached my hook and loop by stitching around my towel at like 1/8 of an inch, and that secured that opening. Then I added the hooks, and then I added the loops by sewing little boxes around them. But I thought if I'm going to make a lot of these, 6 isn't that many, but if I were deciding that I wanted to make a lot more, like a big stack, I want to kind of refine my assembly process. So another option is to just place, after you stitch your squares right sides together, turn them and then press them, is to add the Velcro pieces to the corners and then top stitch everything down 1/8 of an inch away from the edge, and it will secure your either your hook side of the tape or the loop side of the tape on 2 sides. That's plenty to hold these little guys together. And then, like I mentioned with the paper towel roll, I just painted the Modge Podge on my roll, used my 6.5 by 11.25-inch piece or 11.5-inch piece and covered it, and then tucked the ends in the tube so that I didn't have raw edges showing. And you got to make sure you wait for that to dry completely and then affix the 11.25-inch loop piece over the raw edge seams and use your favorite glue. You can see there I'm using the Modge Podge, but that's really not strong enough. You're going to need to use something stronger. And then we're going to let this completely dry, and we'll be able to attach the towels. So I envisioned my towels showing the bamboo terry side up. So with the terry side up, you're going to place a towel on that prepped cardboard roll. Then you're going to repeat to attach the other towels, and you're going to do that by just putting the hook piece on top of the loop piece, and the loop piece is on the bamboo side bottom of the towel, and the hooks are on the top. And that is kind of the process that, can simulate tearing off one of these towels like you would tear a paper towel at its perforation. And that's easy, right? I think you can make a lot of these. So I was thinking about the scraps that this project generated, and I really think that you would enjoy, those of you particularly that have an embroidery machine, might enjoy these sweet pea reusable makeup pads. because I use these to take my makeup off. I made them from scraps. It's an embroidery in the hoop project. So I gave you a little link to try this because I think you'll enjoy making it. And once again, this is the cool thing you can put in like a little jar by your vanity and remove your makeup. If you wear makeup, it's also good just to exfoliate or apply astringent or whatever you want for any kind of skincare routine.
Well, I hope you give this a try because honestly, I just love the fabrics. It's such a strange little collection this month, but it is utterly adorable, don't you think? I'm sorry. All right, well, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see other tutorials like it or just other topics, don't forget to check out our Bernina of Naperville YouTube channel. It's easy. It's youtube.com/Bernina of Naperville, and there you can like, comment, and subscribe. Happy sewing.